The nice thing about working in a rural community is traditional methods don't always work very well unless you're willing to bang your head against a brick for an entire year and then move on. I feel fortunate and at the forefront of the changes that are happening in education simply because I don't have a choice. So if I'm going to make it work here and it's going to be a learning environment that's authentic and not just hoop jumping, the teachers here have no choice but to get into the personalized learning, the individualized learning, and part of that is the online program.
It's a very straightforward idea, really, that you have in a very sparsely, logistically challenging district, sparsely populated, electronically bring together groups of kids by grade, and you could do by interest or by elective or whatever, and we're hoping to get to that point. Kids get to meet other people even electronically, and now today physically. It just binds a lot of very disparate groups together in a sound educational way.
Our school district is very, very large. We have 30 schools across the span of the geographical distance of the province of New Brunswick, basically, or the country of Switzerland, right? Like, that's how big our school district is.
It seems incongruous that with fewer students in a school that the challenge might be less, but in reality, because of the way funding works, schools get so many teachers for how many students there are, and as the numbers decline, the number of grades does not decline.
It's probably one of the most difficult classrooms in the province. I could probably make a pretty good argument for that. So for her to have to hit all 3 grade levels of all subjects and then personalize, make adaptations, do modifications for a third of the class on an individualized basis, it's an impossible workload. She couldn't even do it if she stopped sleeping and worked from day until night and just kept working. It's impossible.
It's reality that the cuts from the government affect our kids, I think, more so than people in town, because there's so few, and we're the ones being cut. And in a lot of the rural areas, we have First Nations communities. You don't hear very much from First Nations communities.
I like it because you can actually, since you have headphones, you can listen closer to them and you'll actually get it more. You don't have a whole bunch of kids just speaking, talking in front of you, asking questions. And when you do ask questions, it's just through chat, so they'll answer that quickly.
It's kind of harder because I can't sit there and listen to a computer because I'm easily distracted. And I can't stare at the computer screen for in 45 minutes. It's too long.
I just like it better when the teacher is in there and actually can show you what to do and stuff if you don't understand it, instead of trying to explain it to you over the computer.
You being able to actually talk to them, not typing to them.
I'm just used to being in class with other people, not online with people from around everywhere.
I've really enjoyed doing online courses with my teachers and meeting students.
It's really easy, and we don't really have to travel all the way to see the teachers.
We only have classes in the morning, so I guess we should have a teacher for at the end of the day, after lunch.
It takes a while to build trust here in the rural community because so many teachers, other educators, they come here for 1 year oh, this is not for me, and they're gone.
Rural Online specifically is a response to what we're finding in rural education, which is that we lose our older students naturally to a bigger center where they go to school, to secondary school, and they run into terrible difficulties there. There's very low success rate. And they lose more than just time in school. They also lose connections to home and to family.
There's 2 kinds of teachers in the online program. The online teacher that sits at the desk and delivers the course and does all the assessment, does the planning. The other teacher we call classroom teachers, and those are the teachers that are in the classrooms, the real classrooms in the schools, working with the kids that are online. The kids have always at their disposal 2 different teachers.
The best would be small numbers in a classroom in front of a live teacher. This is absolutely the next best thing. I often say that I'm kind of this disembodied voice over the internet to these students.
What? 6 different curriculums going on? That's a lot for someone. It's 15, 45 minutes of instruction, and then they're given an assignment, and then they go do that assignment for the day. And what I can do is sort of know my kid. I see the meltdowns, or I see the just straight up refusal to do work that is not perceived to be relevant. Is a big one. There's cushions in there, there's tables, there's sort of a different way of working. Sometimes my kids are on the floor when they're listening, and that's fine. So they're plugged in, they got their headphones in, they got their work on the floor, and they're kind of lying under their table doing their work, but that's where they're at today. They need to be on the floor.
It definitely has the potential to not work at all, and has the potential to work wonderfully. It's only successful when the classroom piece is very, very well supported. If you simply take 10 kids, put them in a room at computers with the online teacher and put an adult in the corner reading a book, it's not going to work at all.
As people that live on the land and that we're one with our culture and our land, that personal connection is so important. Our students come in, they just go directly to their computer per se, right? Instead of being able to talk to their teacher in person.
I really enjoy it. You can catch the kids before they fall through the cracks because of the technology. There's so much there. It's real time, it's there, you know exactly what's going on. You don't have to wait from a letter from a teacher when the end of the semester is there saying your child's in danger of failing with 1 week to make up. We are a teacher in the classroom. It depends on what's your perspective of a teacher. We're there. We do take the kids to the board and do the math and do the science, and they're here till 4:30, still working on long after their classes are done online.
In the past, there was a fair amount of violence between communities, not necessarily in the communities, but in the urban centers. So students from different communities would come to town and have conflicts with students from other communities. And one of the things that this has done is enabled those students to get to know each other from different communities and what the communities are about a little bit more. And so we don't see so much of that inter-community conflict. By the time they get to the high school, they have a pretty good connection with the other kids that are in their class.
When you see this challenge in front of you that seems insurmountable and potentially damaging, to then look at what are options, what are different ways of dealing with that, and actually coming up with something that's better than it was before, and then allowing it to change as necessary, being open to that, that's amazing to be part of something like that.
So at the same time as we're trying to get really good at teaching the courses the way we're teaching them now, at the same time we're trying to learn how to do things totally differently, moving our courses more towards project-based learning. So we're trying to do both at once, and there isn't really enough information out there about how any of that works in this kind of environment.
This program is really forcing everybody in our district who works with rural students to really focus on what's important. We have to figure that out ourselves.
It's important for me and my kids to have opportunities to dream big, and especially because I think it comes hard to some of my kids.